Hello everyone, and welcome back to Learning Self-Compassion with me, Octavia McIsaac. Today in Lesson 3, we will be learning about letting go of self-consciousness. As I said when I was 13, I finally did this. Tonight, I danced like I never danced before. I was free. This is because that night I finally looked at myself in the mirror and saw that makeup was not what made me beautiful. I was already beautiful. Makeup only enhanced what was already there. I hope that this will allow you to recognize the same things. Now, in the beginning of letting go of self-consciousness, we need to learn about self-judgment. And judgment, where it comes from, because initially judgment, it helps us in assessing situations. Judgment allows us to notice the differences in other people around us and to protect ourselves in case of, there's a grizzly bear, maybe I shouldn't approach it. Now, of course, self-judgment, we can start to think a bit too much about ourselves and start thinking, oh, there's something wrong with me, when in fact there really isn't, and that you're just another person. And in this case, that really is a good thing. With being just another person, we start to realize that we all have problems, we all have things about ourselves that maybe we wish were different, like the size of our bodies and everything. Everyone thinks about it. We just act certain ways where maybe we're not all being that honest. So you first have to, in letting go of your judgment, you have to embrace yourself. You really have to say, you know what? This is me. It is fine to be me. You know what? I am good just the way I am. And it's when we learn that, when we're actually checking with ourselves in the previous times, when we're doing those self-checkups, that we're really able to say, you know what? It's okay. Someone laughed at me because, you know what? I felt that I did everything I could, and that was unprecedented, and that maybe they have something going on, but there is nothing that I need to be worried about because I'm good just the way I am. So you really, in order to be able to do this, you need to be able to feel secure and really have that confidence. Just be there, be confident, and remember, you're perfect just the way you are. Now, in changing self-talk, that's really key in order to build up that confidence. Now, instead of saying like, oh, look, I'm doing all these things wrong, everything's going wrong with everything in my life, it's, okay, maybe I need to work on something. Maybe there's something else and I just need some more time, but there's really nothing ever really wrong with you. That's a harsh word. It's kind of, try your best not to use words like hate, because the fact is you can dislike something about yourself, but if you say I hate myself, you're just putting yourself down. You need to realize that there's what's really going on there. What is it that's really causing you to use those words? Because really, if you think about it, so if someone else is bullying you, it might be because they have a problem with themselves. There's stuff in themselves that they would like to change, and because you have what they want, they're just going after you because they want that thing for themselves, and because they can't learn this self-compassion, they're just trying to input it on somebody else, so it's no longer their problem, so they can go on with their short-term solutions and not have to think about how bad and how internally hurt they're really feeling. So, like when you're learning new things, you can say, oh, but nothing, I haven't seen any difference, I'm not doing these things, but you know what? Maybe all of a sudden, like if you're taking courses, you got a C+ instead of a D. Hey, that's an improvement. Maybe it's not that B or that A you wanted, but you're improving. And just be able to use words like I'm improving, I'm doing better, it's okay, I've on my way, I'm I'm okay just the way I am. Just instead of using words like I'm ugly and those types of stuff, just think about what, let's say, your parent or someone that really cares about you would say to you. That's what you need to convince yourself is true, because it is. You're beautiful, whatever you look like, just the way you are. Because really, external looks do not matter. Those primal judgments we make, it doesn't have anything on the person who you really are. It's who over what inside. We move on then to changing our perspective. Now, you have to remember in situations, just like I was saying beforehand, you can't read minds. You in that situation where, you had someone make a joke about you, people were laughing. It doesn't mean that they think less of you. It doesn't mean anything like that. Actually, if anything, people forget. Honestly, we're a very prone species to forgetting stuff ever happened. And so, you're not the laughing stock. Nothing's wrong there. It's just, it was a joke. But it's important to also recognize that when people are making fun of us and using sarcasm and different tools, it's usually a protection mechanism and ways that they get around not feeling that comfortable. And sometimes you might have to go up and say, you know what, that really hurt me. And just be honest. And even if they might still laugh at you and say, be a man, strengthen up. You know what? There's nothing manly or anything about being all like taking bullying and just accepting that people beat you up. You have to feel your emotions. You have to be honest about them. And if we're not honest about how we're feeling, then really we're not being honest to anyone, including ourselves. And that's important in our lifestyles and the way we grow. Now, you have to in a situation, you kind of have to let go of your connection to that situation. So think of it in the third perspective, like, say you tripped and fell. It's like, okay, so in my case, Octavia fell on the ground. She was feeling hurt. She thought she'd made a mess of herself, but then she noticed that no one was really paying attention to her and that she could keep on walking, though she was kind of sad that no one had helped her up and that no one was there. It didn't mean that anything was wrong, that there were weird situations going on. It just meant that somebody hadn't noticed that people were getting on with their own days and that she just had to get on with her own. Now, using the third perspective really can help us gain perspective, that our own perspective of, and all this happened, no one cares about me, blah, da, 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 da. It's irrational, and it's rationalizing, getting to a really realistic view. That's how we help ourselves grow. Now, you really have to recognize that usually a situation is better than what you think it is, but it's hard to get here. This took me over a year to get to this point, and it's in those practices of the self-talk, and when you learn, as you're still learning more about yourself, when you're still asking yourself these things about why do I find certain situations harder, you will discover more and more situations where you're struggling, and you'll realize that problems that had seemed to have gone when you were younger, issues in school, you really do carry them with you, and that it takes really going into your mind and calming yourself down and saying, it's okay, let's explore this once I'm in a secure environment. Just be able to cry and be able to say, I felt so injured when I was younger. I had so many difficulties, and it's okay for me just to feel this, because we all need to feel these emotions. We all need to go through our problems. We need help. You need to have other people to talk to and really gain to a trustworthy person, a counselor, friends, support group. Can really help you in this process of learning self-compassion. And as you slowly let go of that self-judgment, you will find you'll start letting go of that harmful